We are live on Leafs Talk on the Sportsnet podcast and video and sometimes on YouTube, but right now on Sportsnet Now Network. I'm JD Bunkus. He is Sam McKee. Better hair tonight. Way to go.
I feel like I feel like my camera's a little crooked. There we go.
Yeah,
Better? I feel like
face,
I'm in the Twilight Zone. I'm in the Twilight Zone here.
Face. Old crooked face.
How are you, bud?
I'm better. I liked tonight. I enjoyed tonight I enjoyed watching the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was a pleasurable viewing experience. Not just because of the win, but the way that they played and the way that they stuck up for each other. And so I think, listen, it wouldn't be a Toronto Maple Leafs podcast or a Maple Leaf product. If you want to prove that you and I grew up cheering for this team, there's no better way than to start by talking about fourth line, right? Over the captain scores 2 goals. Who cares? We'll talk about that later. We'll get there, boys. We'll get there, fellas. I got to start with the fourth line. Keefe deserves some credit. It's kind of a weird one because the fourth line at times is getting hemmed in. Clifford takes a penalty early. Simmons got a penalty that was just not it, right?
What a soft call. Jesus.
Soft call. But still,
my God.
Two penalties for the fellas on the fourth line. But they score a goal. Nice little pass by Simmons. A little bit of a risky one that he put no look into the middle of the ice. But when they work, right? So he gets that. But I genuinely believe that having those guys in the lineup tonight against a team like Winnipeg that they have a history with, that plays a real physical game, that it just kind of set the tone for what they were looking for tonight. And you saw that with Morgan Rielly doing just I don't normally like it when guys just get hit clean and then there's a fight. I think it's kind of dumb most of the time, and I thought that was a clean hit. Whatever. If you disagree, jump in now. Clean?
No, clean.
Yeah,
but
clean.
Centimeters from very bad.
Close. And guess what?
Close enough to get the flippers off and start a ruckus. Definitely.
And Nicky Robb is the baby.
Listen, we were talking about this the other day about who was it that Labushkin smoked? Holloway? One of the best hits ever. These guys, young guys that are coming into the league, they don't expect to get hit anymore. Like these big hits, they don't feel them in junior. They don't happen as much as they used to. And I don't think Robertson, that is the vintage spot, right inside the blue line, puck in his feet, right around that blue line area is where guys get spanked. That is for my whole life. That was the spot. The trolley tracks, don't go there. And he went there, man. He went into he had his head down in the sweet spot. And is it Morrissey that caught him? Yeah, 44. Morrissey caught him. Good hit.
The killer. The guy who's just looking for that all game long. Just wants it so badly.
Too. Threw a knee on Matthews. So I agree that I loved having the tough guys in there. It's to me, I'm a product of junior hockey in the OHL. I watched junior hockey. I used to go to 4-hour games in Owen Sound, bud, where they're just literally fights off every draw. I grew up with this in my life. I like fighting. I like this kind of thing. But I will say, I was a little disappointed in the fact that I think Marner got absolutely buried in the corner.
Hold on. Yeah, I agree. But you didn't think overall it was good?
He was bloodied, and I thought there would be a response next shift. I was looking for a fight. I was looking for some blood. I'm sitting on my couch a little pissed off. I want a chunk of meat, and it never came. So a little disappointed in that, but I thought they did have a presence, and I thought they played fine enough. They were 100 times more noticeable than Kubel and whoever you're putting on the fourth line. That fourth line with Camp, was it Camp, Kubel, and Zach Aston Reese? They were 10 times more noticeable. They made way more of an impact on the game tonight. I thought Camp had his best game tonight playing with those guys. Just to me, having some size and some grit on the fourth line is completely fine. And it makes it all the more stupid what they were doing, effing around, sounding Kubel and trying to, I don't think you can do this every night. But if this was not an option to be able to mix this in, it's a big time detriment that it was only an option when Murray got hurt, to me.
Yeah, okay. So that's correct. A couple things there. I want to go through them one by one. The point I was kind of trying to make earlier about having those guys in the lineup, I think had the impact as to why Rielly threw off the mitts and just went at it right away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why Bunting, jumps in on a scrum after a sneaky dirty hit by Sandin. And also, if you're a Jets fan, I bet your version of this show is leading
Jets
off
talk?
Hey, Jets talk tonight. They're going, Our guy got buried from behind, and it was 2-1, and then the game was 3-1 off of a power play.
I'll say something unpopular on Jets talk. Cole Perfetti launched himself into the boards the second he felt anything on his arm. Like he's like, whoa! Like it was such a dive. It was such a dive. Listen, it was in the numbers, but he launched himself straight into the boards for the effect.
I'm telling you, that's a penalty a million times out of a million.
For sure, but it was a dive.
Yeah. Sure, fine. It was a bad hit by Sandin.
No doubt.
It's like you can't really be overly. Marner's was worse, the one that he got mugged on, where the ref just stared right at
it. Staring at it.
He just gave him the long look. He looked him down. Marner came up with a new face, and he was like, "What happened to you? What happened to you?" His new face got rearranged. But hold on, let me finish.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's just that I think that they knew they had to play physical tonight, and that they needed to stick up for one another. And I think that we tend to like overvalue this. Like it's game 5? Is this game 5? We're 6.
We're 6. They're 4-2 now.
We're game 6, baby.
4-2.
It's game 6 of the season. We probably won't remember this night in the middle of the year, but I do think that it's just like anything, man. You go through it with a group and people stick up for each other. And in sports, it can be physical. In life, it can just be somebody having your back. It makes you feel better. Like it makes you feel like you want to have a beer with somebody later and talk about it, right? And that's how I feel those guys were tonight. And I think that it did have something to do with the complexion of the fourth line that you were talking about. And okay, to me, this is something like this was one of the topics I want to hit on you. The bottom 6 still doesn't have an identity, right? Like it's kind of all right. There's Kerfoot and Yarncroc is basically the new last year when it was Camp. Remember they had the third line. It was Camp and oh my God, I already forget Mr. Injury's name from the Ducks.
I'm drawing a blank here. Last year.
Yeah, the other guy, the Camp's best buddy.
Oh my God, Andre Kasha.
Yeah, Kasha. There we go. That's it. Thank you. There was the Comp Kasha thing where for a little while, like they were the 1-2 tandem on the third line, and there was a little bit of offense there, and that. But they were meant to be sort of defensive. That's sort of how I feel this group still is, right? And Bourne brings up this topic all the time about how you can't put one guy in the lineup that changes that your like physical complexion of the team. But I did think that okay, those guys clearly are 4A players now, right? Simmons, Clifford. I don't think they can hold up for an entire season. But what you said there, that is another just drawback of the cap, like the situation that they're in, that they can't have that sort of forward depth that can come up and play with it a little bit unless there's an injury. And tonight was the night to play those guys. And maybe you can go back to Kubel, even though, again, I'm just...
No, thanks.
Waivers. I don't know how. Waivers again. Waivers again for Kubel. It's just, it's not long for him in this world. Engvall's going to draw back in at some point. I thought that it was a fair scratch. He had missed camp, basically. He showed up sort of out of shape, or not out of shape maybe, but just like not ready to play.
He had an ankle thing, and it kind of looked like he was tentative. That's what Keefe said today when he was talking about it, that he had an ankle thing and that there was a tentative to his game, which I do agree with because he's a little bit more hard
protecting guys now, though. Keefe's like, listen, I'm not ever saying anything critical about a player again. He's like, Engvall's out. They're like, why is he out?
Ankle.
Because he's that? His ankle is barking. His ankle's barking, boys. No, he's Engvall in it. I think they're trying to send a message that they signed him this year. They kept him. They didn't trade him or they didn't let him walk. They didn't move him. They kept him because they feel like he can provide secondary scoring. And so far this year, he hasn't been very good. Either way, I think they're still searching for identity. I like the Kerfoot-Yarncroc tandem. I don't know how it's going to end up, whether or not they do. Like Zach Aston-Reese, again, another guy, fine penalty killer. Don't really notice him 5-on-5 ever. Either way, the search is going to continue. And I actually like having a competition of guys where you could be in and out of the lineup every given night if you don't play very well. And I think that those guys, do you think that they should keep it together, the exact same lineup for Vegas? Because I know that, me too.
I'm sending the exact same guys over the boards against Vegas on Monday night. I love the old thing of you don't change a lineup after a win. And to me, the way they played tonight, would you say this is their best start to finish game? 60 minutes?
Yeah, because I think they played the third period the way that they needed to.
They played
like
awesome
the analytics
in the third period.
the numbers will probably show that it was a closer game than I think it was. But no, I thought the Leafs were the better team, and then they just played with the lead well. And it was a sign of maturity. You remember the Leafs from a couple of years ago that just couldn't protect the lead. Tonight, you felt pretty good about it.
Simmer said it on the broadcast. He was like, you look up and there's 10 minutes. He was talking about how quickly the Leafs kind of sapped the life out of that game. He kept mentioning how quickly the clock was ticking down. I
First
thought
10 minutes of the third, they just got rid of it. It was just gone. Like they had one good shift, Winnipeg, in the first 10 minutes.
So what other topics did you want to talk about? Because I had a couple of the things that I noticed again tonight that I thought were impressive.
Are you done with the bottom six?
Yeah, I'm done with the bottom six. I think you're right.
I think
you're right.
Should be next.
Okay, go ahead. Get on Tavares because I love that topic. Wasn't what I was going to go with, but I'm good with it.
Well, I think that the story of the season from a positive standpoint has been how good Tavares looks.
Definitely.
It's not even like it's not like he's moving fast or anything like that. He just looks way more confident, which is weird because he's a $11 million player and he's the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's
900 really points in his career now.
Yeah. But he looks like when he's playing with the puck and you saw it tonight with the goal, but a lot of times off the rush, he just looks like he's trying to play with more creativity.
I think to me, what I think with Tavares so far this year is I don't think he's ever been impatient with the puck, but to me, it feels like he's taking an extra beat with it and making the right decisions.
That's what I'm saying about the creativity. Like he looks like he's taking an extra second to see like, hey, what can I do with this?
That first goal they got tonight where Matthews makes that play along the boards and, he's fallen down. He fires it over to Marner who finds Nylander. And Nylander makes that area touch pass through the legs. It lands on Tavares' stick. And that is what John Tavares has done since he was probably 8 years old, 7 years old. When he's
in front
when he's in front of the net like that, as soon as he pulled that toe drag and he went to the backhand and then put it back forehand, you knew it was in the net. He is amongst the top 1% on planet Earth of people around the net. Like there is not many guys in the league that are better than him in that area. And to me, hockey is the ultimate confidence game, man. You said he looks more confident. He probably is. The puck has been going in from him since the first game of the season. He's always been a guy that needs to have his points, needs to get his cookies. He's a point-a-game guy. That's kind of who he is. And it's kind of gone to his legs from the start of the season. The puck's been going in. It's been landed on his stick in the good spots. And now he's just – and the thing with him is he's just such a dog on a bone on the boards too. That's such an underappreciated part of his game. And I've just noticed that so much to start this year. How well he digs out pucks for Willie, and Willie gets him into a good spot, and then Tavares gets it back. He's such a dog on a bone that way. So I've just loved the start from him. I don't know what else I can really even say about him. It's just the confidence and the decision-making. Everything just seems like it's going slow for him, and it's nice. It's nice to see.
That's a good way of putting it is things look slower for Tavares.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, people were talking about him looking slow. Now the game around him looks slow. And I think he needed a really good start too. And this is part of what's playing into the confidence is he knew that coming into this offseason or coming out of this offseason, there had been those discussions about him moving off of center and what his long-term future was going to be like and how many years of his contract were going to be great versus bad versus okay, and he comes out right away and he's scoring and he's playing well. I also think that, and just like quickly to finish this topic, a big part of it is also Nylander. Nylander has been awesome. Like he looks like I know he only put on like a few pounds, but he looks like he put on like 15 pounds. Like he just looks like a freak out there just about every single shift. He's driving play all the time. He's getting to the middle of the ice. He's getting to the net and he's making life easier for Tavares. And the other thing now too, with that line, they were my favorite line again tonight. And it's why? Because also now they have another dangerous guy. You don't feel like they're just carrying some floater out there. Is Robertson going to be a perfect player? No. But he made a couple nice plays with the stick on the back check again.
Tonight. The defensive zone play is what I noticed more tonight than the offensive zone play. He made like a bunch of good reads where I'm like, wow, that's perfect. Because then you get Willie in transition and then you get Tavares as a trailer and you know what he does around the net. So I agree. Nick Robertson again tonight. That's what I'm noticing. It's just his reads and his strong stick and his transition play. And if you add both those guys on Tavares' wing, that is going to be a dangerous line. We talked about this with Kipper and Bourne on Friday. I really just hope he stays healthy because he's been crunched a couple times. He got nailed tonight, Robertson, and he was talking about it this morning in the pregame skate, talking about how he's still sore from the game against Dallas. It's a grind, man, and he's a little guy, and he got spanked again a couple times tonight. So I'm just praying he stays healthy because he looks so good. But yeah, that line has been. It's funny because Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner are two of the best players on planet Earth, legitimately. And I right now am more looking forward to Tavares and Nylander shifts than I am looking forward to Matthews Marner shifts. Like they are looking more dangerous to me through 6 games than Matthews and Marner. And once Matthews and Marner find their game, you have a legitimate 1-2 punch here. Like you're not talking about being annoyed. Remember how annoyed we were with Tavares and Nylander? Is Bunkis frozen? I feel like his face hasn't moved in a while. Yeah, it looks like he's frozen. It's our it was now time for our freeze in the show where Bunkis freezes. He's got a very serious face this time. Very serious face. He's frozen. He's inquisitive, thinking about my takes. So yeah, I remember last year when they were kind of switching people on that second line where it was, they tried Kerfoot there for a while and then they kind of broke it up. And then they put Robertson there last year for I think maybe 1 or 2 games, and he wasn't nearly the guy that he is now, and it just didn't look right. And now having Robertson join those guys, I'm happy to have those guys together now, and feels like they've really picked up some chemistry, Nylander and Tavares, and it just Matthews and Marner seem to be a little bit snake bit right now. The puck is landing on Matthew's stick in good spots, so I'm not too concerned about that. But man, that's a nice 1-2 punch, and if they can find an identity for the bottom 6, it's going to be a really dangerous team here. It's nice to see. So yeah, 4-2 start the year. After they lose to the Coyotes and to the Habs, and everybody is panicking, and I'm panicking less now, I will say. The other thing I was going to bring up with Bunkis, if he ever gets back here, is I thought it was a second straight great game for Rasmus Sandin. I'm liking him a lot on the back end, on his natural side. He was playing out of his position, playing on the bottom player, playing on his offside with Giordano, and I thought he had his worst 2 games to start the year. I was worried about him with his hop to start the year, to get his pop to start the year, and he's back. He is back again. It's a nightly drop. I get to practice my Vin Scully.
To me, I never left. I don't know what it is on your guys'. I'm still here the entire time, and I hear everything.
You heard everything?
So, just want to finish thought though. Is like, yeah, I did, and to me, he's just a dangerous player, and having another dangerous guy out there with 2 other guys is great. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what the hell keeps breaking up with this thing. Anyway, anything else on second line? I'm guessing that as I just closed that call and reopened it, that you finished your thoughts.
Well, I just said that. I love the fact that Tavares and Nylander are showing chemistry because we've seen more chemistry for them through 6 games this year than we saw all of last season. I feel like, so it's nice to see. That's it.
So
go ahead. What topic. What do you got?
Well, you choose the next one.
Yeah, Sandin to me. Sandin playing on the second pair on his correct side with a right shot defenseman and Justin Hall, who, God, he still makes just boneheaded plays every night, but he's an ultimate give and take guy in terms of defense and Dumbo plays. But on the other side, I thought Sandin again tonight looked really strong, and him playing on his natural side and getting a little bit more minutes and a bit more confidence. I'm encouraged from what I've seen from him in the last 2 games.
Yeah, it wasn't as big of a notice point for me in the game, like didn't have him written down, but yeah, he played a pretty heavy amount of minutes. To me, it's just like that actually is one of my bigger fears right now, is how much they're having to lean on guys like him and Giordano, who played well, like didn't have bad games. It just feels like this is a bit of an untenable workload, and I'm curious to see sort of how they're.
I wouldn't say that for Sandin. For Giordano,
you don't think
sure.
Physically for Sandin it's going to be a lot?
He's a kid, man. He's young. Like I feel like right now is when they should be leaning on him. Like I don't worry about him as much. I feel like he's a rugged enough guy that he can handle it. To me, I am way more worried about Giordano's workload. Like he's taking bumps, he's blocking shots. What did he play tonight? I don't have the stats in front of me, but it felt like he played a lot.
He's now playing essentially like the Muzzin role on the team, like that role wore Muzzin down over time. And so to think that like Mark Giordano, who's like damn near 40 years old now, is going to have to do this. It just feels
ice time here for Giordano tonight. Just talk amongst yourself there, bud.
Oh, anyways, that's my only like concern is that I don't like Mete. I just think like he's trying to jump up in the rush in every play essentially because he knows that's the only way that he's going to really impact the play. Just feels like he's stat hunting too many times. When the puck goes back in his end and there's a forward that's able to forecheck on him, scares the crap out of me. So yeah, you know what? Maybe the fact that I didn't really notice Sandin tonight is a really good thing outside of, again, a couple of sharp plays offensively, a couple of nice passes, and then the hit from behind. The other one for me is
Giordano was 17-20 tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say he had to be close to 20. I can't believe you went Sandin before Samsonov. Because to me, like, that's the three stories of the game. Fourth line, Tavares, and then Samsonov. Just big tonight. And gave up like quite a few rebounds, but was just like big in the net, made a ton of saves. Whenever they would kind of push, whenever they would be dangerous around the net, just kind of felt like he just kept getting a piece about things and then never really like putting the puck out back into dangerous spots. He was awesome tonight.
I wouldn't go that far. I thought he was good, but there was how many posts they hit tonight. He was kicking them. I think 3. I think 2 or 3. What's his name hit 2 at least. Dubois hit 2. I think they had another one.
Captain like outside post on far shots from the wing.
Beat him clean on the blocker. Just hit the post. Yeah, I'm not a goalie like you. I'm a shooter. He beat him clean. Okay.
I don't know.
To me, it was
1 goal, buddy. He stopped 30 pucks.
I know. I thought he was good. I thought he was fine, but I just didn't think he was like a story of the game. I thought he made the saves he needed to. He had that one breakaway where the guy shot it at his chest. I hate how much we're talking, and everybody's doing it. They did it on the broadcast tonight. I've seen Leafs beat writers tweeting about it, talking about it. His hot starts to years, and it's always in the back of my mind. I can't.
Yeah, you're just being a contrarian. You're being a contrarian.
I can't enjoy this.
No, you're being a contrarian.
No, I'm not.
You are.
It keeps getting hammered down my throat.
No.
I don't want it to be hammered down my throat. Everyone's talking about it. But in the back of my mind, it is there. It's there. No. The other side of this is there. I am thinking about it. I am thinking about it.
This is a post-game show, and it's like reacting to the game. And the guy made 30 saves, and you're talking about like outside posts.
He was fine.
Man, his
kicking
whole
rebounds
thing,
into the slot, playing the puck badly. Like, I can see how this flips, is what I'm saying. He's been good enough through how many games he played? 4? He's been good. There's no doubt. But I am not in the full trust zone with Samsonov like you
would be. Who would be?
I'm not in the full trust zone. Seems like
I said he had a good game. This is a post-game show. He was one of the stories of the game. He played extremely well. He made 30 saves. He was big in the net. He had one really bad moment, I thought, where he tried to retrieve the puck from behind the net, and then he didn't really handle it well and kind of was swimming, and it got a little spooky. Like, you're counting an outside post shot from Pierre-Luc Dubois that was shot from the wing and missed the net. Those don't even count on shots on net, buddy. Like, what are you talking about? Post is nothing. No, Samsonov was good. You're just being a hater, and you're being a contrarian.
I'm not being a hater.
You don't like to be a goalie guy.
I can't be honest that I see the other side of this, that I'm worried about.
What's the other side?
That these pucks that he's kicking straight into the slot and the swimming around, like, the pucks are going to start to go in. That's what I'm worried about.
Samsonov, like, if you look, there was a great article up on sportsnet.ca the other day, and it's like the one thing that this guy has really struggled with throughout his career and basically cost him his job in Washington is that he couldn't stop slot chances. Like, it was killing him, which is, the toughest ones in hockey, obviously, home plate. Like, that gets everybody. They're tough to define as tough goals, but he was well below average on those shots. And in this game tonight, what happened? He made saves on those, and his defenseman cleared the puck. And that's what's supposed to happen on a lot of those high-danger ones. You're not killing every single one of those plays. The guy was big. He got a piece of a ton of pucks. He kept them in the ball game. He never let it get away from them.
He was good.
He never let in a bad goal.
He was good.
You're talking about how you can't put him in the trust tree. No one's asking you to.
I'm just listen. I don't love goalies, as you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're trying to be a contrarian.
I'm not.
You sent me 3 texts tonight. Sammy. And then what? You get on the show, and everybody You're trying to Hollywood it with the Toronto media stuff. I get it.
I'm not contrarian at all. I'm not zagging here. I'm just being honest with my best bud sitting here looking at you that I am concerned about him. I am. It's just in the back of my mind, the hot start stuff and him being Mr. Loved. Like, there is the other side of this, is all I'm saying.
Sure, the other side is that goalies are going to have cold spells. I'm just saying that in a reaction show to a game that he had 30 plus saves.
Fine.
It's very strange time.
Not one of the stories of the game to me.
Yeah, very strange time to bring up like that. It's in the back of your mind that he might end up stinking sometime because Pierre-Luc Dubois hit a
Warning
post.
signs. That's
Yeah,
not. There's just warning signs to me.
yeah.
There's just
All
warning
right,
signs to me.
fine.
That's all.
My last one is just Matthew Snakebit.
Mhm.
He looks like a guy who's pressing, and he's. It's weird because there were moments where you and I go, hey, it doesn't look like he's taking some of the shots that he used to, and then his shot rate is through the roof. He's taking 1 million shots.
Yeah.
He's still drawing penalties. He's still obviously having a huge impact on the game. He's the focal point of the power of the other team's penalty kill. The whole thing about how he needs to actually shoot one in the net, I'm there now. I'm going, you got to shoot one in the net.
Mhm.
He whiffs on that one puck early in the game, and then he's grabbing his side, and then he doesn't grab it the rest of the game. I don't know. It just feels like
bruised ego on that one.
Yeah,
he fanned, and then like, listen, I've done that too. Everyone's done that in their respective sport. We're like, oh man, my little cross check boo boo hurts after I miss a wide open one timer that didn't go in the back of the net. Like I get it. I know what he was doing, but I would like to see one go in. I'm at the point now where it's getting a little annoying. Where the one that I thought was the best chance that he had tonight was the backhander that Hellebuck stopped, where it like kind of landed on his stick in the slot and he kind of turned his body and tried to backhand it, and Hellebuck got that big glove across. Listen, it's coming. It's coming here soon. I mean, what did he have through the first 6 last year? 1 or 2? Wasn't it like the big story? I feel it doesn't excuse it. He had a slow start last year. I'm not saying it excuses it, but I just think that they're coming here soon, and it's annoying how snakebit he is. There's no doubt.
I don't even I think everybody knows the numbers are coming. He's the number 1 5-on-5 scorer since he came in the NHL. It's not really a concern. It's more just like an observation of this guy looks like he's pressing. He's taking a few extra shots. He doesn't look really like himself at times in the game. And when he's not going, the rest of the line isn't going because they're looking for him, right? They want to get him one, and it just feels like he's been a little cursed. And I do wonder, though, for the guy who doesn't seem to care at all about anything, like always seems so unbothered, whether this is a little bit in his head now.
Yeah, maybe. I think he knows how nasty he is, and he probably doesn't even care. I think it's more on the other side that he doesn't even give a damn about it. He doesn't. I don't think he thinks twice about it. He knows it's going to go in the net. I had something else for you.
Yeah, what do you got?
Is this? I love this rivalry. This is now like these guys hate each other, and it's not like a forced rivalry. I think the best thing to come out of the Canadian division was this rivalry. Like these teams legitimately seem to hate each other.
Well, it wasn't losing to Montreal in the first round.
No, that certainly wasn't the best thing.
That was the worst.
By far. I think it's pretty easy to differentiate between those two.
That part stunk. But I hated that part.
But I like these Jets games. I look forward to these Jets games. There seems to be a genuine hate. There's way more of a hate than there is with any of the natural rivals. Like this game's always greasier than any Montreal game or any Ottawa game or even the Bruins. Like this game's always way greasier. And I just wish they played more than twice a year. It's an awesome rivalry.
Me too.
Like Dubois a punk. Pionk's a punk. Like I hate all those guys. I love rooting against them. And it makes me so happy that this is their fans' biggest night of the year. They play the Leafs, like the Yankees roll into town, the team that matters the most. You get all greased up, put your ugly Jets jersey on, you head down to the old crappy barn.
Jets jersey tonight was hot.
Oh, no, but their normal jerseys are awful.
Garbage.
They've been awful since day one.
Jets, switch to these jerseys full time.
Hey, how about wear the super gorgeous ones that you have right there? Just wear those ones. Yeah. But it's just I love that they just went in there and just beat the pants off them, and all those Jets fans had to look at all those drunk Leaf fans that are just whooping it up all night. It's a great night if you're a Leaf fan at that barn because there's so many Leaf fans, and you got sour Jets fans. I love that rivalry, and I'm happy.
It's a great one for the Leaf fans that didn't have to fight. Because there were some fights.
Buddy. There. Over under 11 and a half fights tonight around the barn.
Some fights tonight. And there's some guys right now at the bar in Winnipeg that are going, hey, I'm glad we got out of there without a fight, and the fight is yet to come.
And there's guys looking at it. Do they have Uber in Winnipeg? I don't even know if they have Uber there. But they're like, hey, time for the Uber, boys? And it's like, let's get the Uber, guys. Let's head out.
Yeah, you know what? Tonight might be a good night to just drink in the hotel if you're visiting from out of town. Would be my suggestion.
Go hang out with your Leaf fan friends. Don't be around the barn. But there
leave the fridge full of the Bud Lights and just head back there and
watch the
enjoy
highlights.
watch. Oh, dude, going to a game and then your team wins, and then going back to the hotel room with the fellas and just crushing some cold ones that you've got waiting for you is
and
that
highlight reel goals tonight too. Like Simmons with one of the passes of the year. That's going to be one of the assists of the year. Those hands aren't just for punching; they're for nasty little between the leg passes. And Tavares's tip was sick off a Matthews shot. And hey,
both Tavares goals were amazing.
When Tavares does a celly like that, it really gets me going because he doesn't usually get that fired up for goals. And just to go back to the rivalry, that he hates the Jets and he hates that team. And when he got that goal, he did the big celly. That ended up being the game winner? No, that was the third. They won 4-1, right? So that was the third goal, but that kind of was the insurance. So yeah. I love that. So yeah, you're enjoying those highlights tonight in Winnipeg, trying to hide from a fight.
My last thing though on that is I just want to say words I shouldn't say on here to the ref that broke up Shifley Simmons.
Oh yeah, let me have it.
Like,
is that Skiller?
It was right there. It was right there. Like both those guys wanted it. Two big fellas.
That would have been a good scrap.
Oh, would have been a great scrap. It was right there, and that ref just did a full like Ronda Rousey judo flip of Shifley, just got him right out of there. And I went, no, you got to be kidding me. Yeah. And then they gave Simmons the penalty. That was a tough moment in the game. But yeah, like, God, I don't care. I like fights, and I thought for sure we were going to get a couple more tonight. Morgan Riley, that was great. Like I said, I thought like he really set the tone. This is why some guys think that Morgan Riley is the true captain of the team because it's just like, yeah, man, he's just he gets it. Like he's heart and soul player.
Cares.
I'm not saying Tavares doesn't do it, doesn't care, doesn't do it, but it's just like Morgan Riley he seems to be able to tap into the tone of what they need a little bit more. And he just also resonates, I think, more with the fans because he can be more human, right? Like he can just be more human
about on the team.
Yeah, for sure he is. He's number one guy that I've enjoyed interviewing. You want my dead last?
Yes. Tavares?
No, on this current team, worst interview I ever had was with Marner.
Oh yeah,
but worst one I've ever had overall was Hyman.
Really?
Yeah,
he's pretty affable though. I thought.
I know, but I think I just caught him on a bad day because it was like Leafs outdoor practice day, and I think somebody handed him a phone. And he was outside, and he just
cold, freeze his bag off.
Every answer was like, yeah, no, and I went, all right. Like I prepped for this for 3 hours.
So I used to do like on Leafs Nation post game, or like I used to do the interviews in the intermissions. Like I would go down before COVID, and then COVID stopped that, and then I stopped doing Leafs Nation pre and post or whatever. But I used to go down and interview the guys, and I'd text Steve Keogh, the PR guy, and I'd go down and do like a little 1-2 banger. And it was always fun doing it with like the veteran guys because it was just like a business transaction. Like I remember I did Marleau a couple times. And we were just like, rapping. I barely said anything. He just gave me like stock.
Like, stock.
Hey,
oh,
like,
buddy, Marlowe's like, got some
hockey?
stock answers.
I'm like,
for you.
hockey? He's like, hockey. Thanks, bud. So dude, I always love that. Those veteran guys always just know what to say.
Marleau has to stick to stock because the only time I haven't seen him do stock was when he did his Borat impression, and it was it was the worst thing ever. It was the worst thing I've ever seen.
I gotta look that up. Where did you do it? Did he do it with Marner? I don't even know what he did.
He did it with Christine Simpson. Had him. Remember, she had the big picture, the big show.
Only Christine Simpson could get Patrick Marleau to do a goddamn
100%. She said to him, she was like, "I hear you do a pretty good Borat," and I went, first of all. No. Everybody does a Borat. Everybody does a Borat. Like that's not a thing. That's not like, imagine you met somebody at a party and they went and you were like, yeah, like you had a couple drinks and they went, I really do a good Borat. You'd be like, what? What are you talking about? Get out of here. And he did it. And he did the like my wife, and that was all he did. And I wanted to be shot out of a cannon because I needed to get off the planet. I was dying of cringe.
I have a big time. This is way off the rails now, but I have a quick Borat story that I'm so upset about. At my wedding, which was recently, I gave a speech which kind of went on and on. And
I forgot we were talking to the audience. He was like, yeah, I was there.
And I went on, and I was, pretty emotional and saying how much I loved everybody. And I had it written in my big time cue cards. I had 1 million cue cards, and I was going to hit everybody at the end and be like, finally, I officially get to say my wife And I completely forgot because I was so emotional, and I'll never forgive myself because I thought I was, that's that kind of room. It would have hit a little bit. I was the groom. People would have had to laugh at my joke. So that's it. That's my wife.
Here's what I would like to say is that it was a good thing that didn't happen, and you should have kept that to yourself. Like, that other people heard you say that, right?
My wife.
Yeah. All right. We're done here. Obviously, that's a good way to close. Again, if you want us to go live on YouTube after Monday night's 10 o'clock banger and the 10:30 crusher, just the 10:30 real gut punch sock. Oh, I'll tell you right now. That when our buddy David Sis says, "Hey guys, you want to test the audio in the second intermission of the 10:30 game?" I'd be sour. David Sis gonna get hit with a harsh text.
You better send me a wake up call.
Yeah, it's gonna be harsh. You know what? That one might go up in the second intermission if the Leafs are up big or down. It's just fire it up, get it going. We're done here. Anyway,
love that idea.
Anything for you to plug for Monday? I got Christopher Steed coming on. Always
nice.
fun.
Nothing
to plug. All right. Nothing to plug other than our Instagram and Twitter at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee, both Sam A. McKee, both on Twitter and on Instagram. Shoot us a DM anytime. Shoot us a tweet. Share this podcast. Share the stream. Do all those nice things. And most importantly, leave 5-star reviews. That's
nice.
Yeah. Good night.